Phylum Chordata. This phylum derives its name from one of the common characteristics of this group, namely the notochord. The animals belonging to all other phyla of the animal are often termed the non-chordates or the invertebrates since they have neither notochord nor backbone in their body. The backbone animals, vertebrates, together with a few closely related animals which do not possess a backbone, are included in this phylum. Most of the living chordates are familiar vertebrate animals. The chordates are primary interest because human beings are members of this group. Diversity of chordates. The chordates at an astonishing diversity in form, physiology, and habits. The number of chordate species is limited. About 49,000 species are on record, which are only half of the living species of mollusks and less than one-tenth of arthropods. Despite their modest number of species, the chordates make remarkable contribution to the biomass of the earth. Nearly all of them are medium size. Vertebrates in particular are considerably larger, and many of them are among the largest of living animals. The gigantic blue, which is 35 meters long and 120 tons in weight, is the biggest known animal. The smallest vertebrate, Philippine goby, is a fish measuring only 10 millimeters in length. The chordates are able to occupy various kinds of habitats. They have adapted themselves to more modes of existence than any other group. They are found in the sea, in fresh water, in the air, and all parts of land from the poles of the equator. General characters. The three distinctive characteristics of chordates are the presence of notochord, dorsal tubular notochord, and pharyngeal gill slits. Notochord. During the embryonic development of chordate, there appears a supporting rod called the notochord. It lies dorsal to the alimentary canal and ventral to notochord. In some chordates, this structure persists throughout life. In others, it is partially or completely replaced by a backbone. It is made up of separate bony elements or vertebrate. Structurally, it is composed of large number of specialized vacuoled cells. It is surrounded by fibrous and elastic sheath. The stiffness of the notochord is due to the turgidity of fluid-filled cells and surrounding connective tissue sheath. Dorsal tubular notochord. The notochord lies just above the notochord and remains entirely outside the coelom. It is tubular structure having a small hollow canal running from one end to the other. The dorsal hollow, the dorsal hollow notochord persists throughout the adult life of almost all chordates. Number three, gill slits, pharyngeal clefts. These are paired lateral clefts leading from the pharynx to the exterior. They are present throughout life in fishes and a few tailed amphibians. In amphibian like frogs and toads, it is found only in the larval stages. In higher vertebrates, reptiles, birds, and mammals, they are embryonic and non-functional. Ventral heart. The heart is chambered. It is located ventral to the alimentary canal, closed the vascular system. In chordates, the blood passes through a continuous system of tubes, namely arteries, capillaries, and veins. Hepatic portal system. In chordates, the food and blood from the digestive tract passes through the capillary network in the liver before reaching the heart. Thus, the veins originating from the digestive tract as capillaries and ending in the liver. Again, its capillaries constitute the hepatic portal system. Classification. The phylum Chordata is classified into four subphyla. Subphylum Hemichordata, subphylum 2 Cephalochordata, subphylum 3 Urochordata, subphylum 4 Vertebrata. First three subphyla are collectively known as protochordates since the members of these subphyla do not have cranium or skull. They are also referred to as acrania. Protochordata, acrania. The protochordates are considered as the forerunners of vertebrata. The classification of the protochordates is based on the nature of the notochord subphylum Hemichordata. These are exclusively marine organisms. They are solitary or colonial forms. They mostly remain as tuberculous forms. The body is soft, vermiform, unsegmented, bilaterally symmetrical, and triploblastic. The body is divisible into three distinct regions, namely proboscis, collar, and trunk. The body wall is composed of single layer of epidermises. The dermis is absent. They have no exoskeleton. A projection from pharynx projecting inside the proboscis may be considered as notochord. They have a spacious coelom lined by coelomic epithelium. Alimentary canal is a straight between mouth and anus. They are ciliary feeders. Sexes are separate. Example: Melanoglossus, Secoglossus. Subphylum Cephalochordata. Cephalochordates are small, fish-like marine chordates. The persistent notochord extends forward beyond the brain. Hence, these are called cephalochordates. The epidermis is single-layered, paired. Fins are absent. Muscles, nephridia, and gonads are segmentally arranged. The pharynx is large with numerous gills. It is a filter feeder. Example: Amphioxus. Subphylum Urochordata. This taxon constitutes a unique group of animals exhibiting diversity in form and habit. In Urochordata, the notochord is confined to the tail region of the larva. The adults are mostly degenerate sessile forms. The body is enveloped by a tunic or test. The free end of the body bears two openings, the mouth and the atrophy. The proximal part of alimentary canal is greatly enlarged to form a spacious pharynx. They are hermaphroditic animals. The development occurs through free swimming tadpole-like larvae. Example: Acidia, Dolium, Salpa. Subphylum Vertebrata. Most important phylum. This group is characterized by the presence of brain case or cranium and a vertebral column, which forms the chief skeletal axis of the body. The notochord is an embryonic structure. It is replaced in the adult stage by cartilaginous or bony vertebrum. The body is covered with an integument having an outer epidermis and an inner epidermis. The skin has many modifications such as glands, scales, feathers, claws, horns, and hair. Gallslets, vertebral column, brain, spinal cord, kidney, gonad, mouth, heart, lung, pancreas, liver, urinary bladder, and cloaca. This is vertebrate diagrammatic structure. The digestive system is ventral to the vertebral column. It is provided with a large liver and pancreas. The circulatory system consists of ventral chamber heart. Circulatory system is a closed type with arteries, veins, capillaries. The blood plasma contains red and white blood corpuscles. Gill slits are limited in number, usually 5 pairs. There are 2 pairs of appendages. The anterior part of the narrow cord becomes differentiated into brain and spinal cord. The special organs of cells like the nose, eyes, and ears are closely connected. Urinary and genital systems are closely connected to form an urinogenital system. The subphylum Vertebrata may be classified into 2 groups: Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces species are phycallothermic, cold-blooded, aquatic vertebrate with jaws. The body is streamlined. It is differentiated into head, trunk, and tail. Between head and trunk, the neck is absent. Locomotion is affected by paired and median fins. Placoid, cycloid, ctenoid. These are scales. The body has a covering of scales. They are of various types like placoid, cycloid, ctenoid, and ganoid scales. The body muscles are arranged into segments called myothomes. The alimentary canal consists of a definite stomach and pancreas and terminates into cloaca or anus. Respiration is formed by gills. Gill slits are 5 to 7 pairs. They may be naked or covered by an operculum. The heart is two-chambered, an auricle and ventricle. Sinus venosus and renal portal system are present. The red blood corpuscles are nucleated. The functional kidney of the adult is of mesonephric type. The external nostrils do not communicate with the buccal cavity. Lateral line sense organs are well developed. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is neither internal or external. Example: shark, cutlet. Vertebrates with 2 pairs of limbs adapted for locomotion on land are known as tetrapods. The limbs are of pentadactyl type. The tetrapods are identified by a cornicoid outer layer of skin and nasal passages communicating with mouth, cavity, and lungs. The superclass Tetrapoda is divided into four classes, namely Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammalia. Class Amphibia. The living representatives of this class include frogs, toads, newts, salamanders, and limbless Sicilians. The transition from aquatic to terrestrial living is clearly indicated in the class Amphibia. These were the first vertebrates to live on land. Amphibia. The amphibians are not completely land adapted. They, however, between aquatic and land environments. This double life expressed in their name Amphibia. It is because of these reasons the amphibians are considered a defeated group. The body forms vary greatly from an elongated trunk with distinct head, neck, and tail to a compact, depressed body with fused head and trunk and no intervening neck. The forelimbs of frogs and toads are smaller than hind limbs in frogs. Hind limbs have webbed feet. The surface of the skin is smooth and slimy. The slimy nature is due to the presence of secretions, mucus secreting glands. Scales are practically absent. Mouth is usually large with small teeth in upper or both jaws. The external nostrils communicate into the interior part of the mouth cavity. Respiration is affected by gills, lungs, skin, and pharyngeal region. The heart is three-chambered with two auricles and a single ventricle. The skeleton is mostly bony with varying number of vertebrae. Exoskeleton is absent. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is either external or internal. The tadpole metamorphoses into adult, example frog, toad, salamander, Sicilian. The tetrapod-like reptiles, birds, mammals are referred to as amniotes. The amniotes have certain membranes associated with embryos inside the egg. It is an adaptation in terrestrial forms during development. These membranes are amnion, chorion, allantois. Class Reptilia, reptiles. Reptiles are represented by lizards, snakes, turtles, tortoises, alligators, crocodiles, and Chordata lizard, Sphenodon punctatum. These are the pictures of reptiles. The body is variable in shape. It is covered with an exoskeleton of horny, imbricate epidermal scales. Skin glands are practically absent. The limbs are of pentadactyl type, adapted for climbing, running, and paddling. The endoskeleton is well ossified. Respiration is by lungs. The heart is three-chambered. In crocodiles, it is four-chambered. The functional kidney of the adult are metanephros. The sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. The eggs are covered with leathery shells. Reptiles have developed some form of copulatory organ to transfer the sperm into the cloaca of the female. Example: garden lizard, cobra, monitor lizard, crocodile, turtle. Class Aves. Birds are One of the most interesting and widely known group of animals. There are more than 600 species of birds distributed all over the world. Birds are bird is group of exhibit characteristics uniformly in structure. Aves are warm-blooded, homeothermic vertebrates with an exoskeleton, feathers forming a non-conducting covering to keep the body warm. The feet are covered with scales. The forelimbs are modified as wings and provided with feathers for flight. The hind limbs are attached to balance the weight of the body. The bones are spongy, containing air cavities, rendering the body light. There is a fusion of bones, and this is especially seen in the vertebral column. Only three digits are present in the forelimbs. In the hind limbs, there are four toes, with the first directed backward. A horny beak is present. The alimentary canal ends in a cloaca. Inside the body, air sacs are present, and some of them communicate with air cavities in the bones. The heart is four-chambered. The red blood corpuscles are enucleated. The kidneys are three-lobed. The ureters open into the cloaca. Urine is semi-solid and acid. The nervous system is very. Eyes are usually powerful and specialized structure called pectin is present inside the eyeball to help in accommodation. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. Eggs are provided with large amount of yolk. The egg is covered by a hard calcareous shell. In spite of several advanced features, the bird have certain reptilian characters. Hence, they are known as glorified reptiles. For example, pigeon, parrot, crow, sparrow, peacock, ostrich, penguin, class Mammalia. The term Mammalia was given by Linnaeus to that group of animals which are nourished by milk from the breast of the mother. They are a successful group for they adapt themselves readily to new situations and to new food habits. The body is generally covered with epidermal hair. The integument is provided with sweat, sebaceous, and scent glands. The mammary glands are modified integumentary glands. The external air of the pinna is present in most of the mammals. Diaphragm is present in between thoracic and abdominal cavities. It helps in respiration. The red blood corpuscles are non-nucleated, biconcave, and usually circular in form. The heart is four-chambered. Only the left aortic arch is present, and the brain, cerebral hemispheres are very large and highly convoluted. Corpus callosum, a transverse band of nerve fibers connecting the two cerebral hemispheres is present. Dentition is thecodont, heterodont, and dipodont. Cloaca is absent. Testis lies outside the body cavity, enclosed in scrotal sacs. Eggs are small with little or no yolk. Fertilization is always internal. Mammals are viviparous. They give birth to live young ones. Placenta is usually present. The class Mammalia is subdivided into three subclasses, namely Monotremata, marsupials, and placentalia. You know these are egg-laying mammals. They lay eggs and feed their young ones milk. These are primitive egg-laying mammals, for example, spiny anteater and duck-billed platypus. Subclass marsupials are Metatheria. These are popularly called marsupials or pouch mammals. The young ones are born in an immature stage and migrate into the pouch on the mother's body. Further development is completed in the pouch or marsupium. For example, kangaroo. Kangaroos are found in Australia. Placentalia or eutheria. In this group, eggs are developed within the uterus. The developing embryo receives nutrition through material blood circulation via the placenta. Example: elephant, tiger, lion, humans, monkey, dog, cat, rat, bat, etc. Order primates. It is an order coming under the subclass Eutheria. This order is of interest because it includes humans, besides lemurs, tertiaries, monkeys, and apes. They inhabit chiefly the warmer parts of the world. This group stands first in the animal kingdom in brain development. However, most of them are unspecialized and tree-dwelling arboreal. Primates are omnivorous. They feed everything. Inhabit. The body is covered with hair except palm, sole, and parts of face. The neck is mobile. They can move their necks. The forelimbs are shorter than the hind limbs. The limbs have 5 digits and all the digits end in flat nail. The follicles of thumb or first toe are smaller than other digits and are opposable except the helix of man. The brain is highly developed. The cerebral hemispheres are much convoluted and cover the cerebellum. The eyes are directed forward and the vision is binocular and stereoscopic. Mammals are true and thoracic in position. To know these are the scientific names of animals. Most important earthworm name is Lampito, Noriti, cockroach, Triplinata americana, housefly, Musca, nebula, locust, Cestosera, Gregaria, bedbug, Simex, Hemipterus, leaf insect, Phalium, species, stick insects, Ceraceous species, water scorpion, Nipa species, butterfly, Parrot species, red flea, Xenophylla, scorpion, Lamnius, Phlomerdomi, king crab, limbless species, apple snail, Pila globosa, freshwater mussel, Lemilidons, marginalis, starfish, asterias, robins, now vertebrates, angelfish, Therophyllum, Scaleri, Gopi, Poecilia reticulata, frog, Rana, hexadactyla, Rana tigrina, garden lizard, Calotos, versicolor, cobra, naja, naja, peacock, pau, cristatus, crow, curvus, flinders, sparrow, passer domesticus, parrot, Reticula, crameri, rat, ratus, dog, canis, familiaris, cat, Pallas, domesticus, lion, Panthera, Leo, elephant, Elephas, Maximus, man, Homo sapiens, monkey, Macaca radiata, Macaca malata, mongoose, Alcestis, Edwardsi, bear, Ursus, Arctos, fruit bat, Cyanopterus, Sphinx, donkey, Echos, Hymionus, rhinoceros, unicorns, spotted deer, axis, man, Homo sapiens. Type study 1 Plasmodium, phylum Protozoa, class Porozoa, order Hemosporadia. Members of the genus Plasmodium are collectively known as malarial parasites. They cause febrile disease called malaria. Malaria is a chill and fever disease as known to mankind for a long time. Eradication of malaria is an important problem in public health. For a long time, it was believed that malaria was caused by harmful vapors produced in marshy land. Charles Leuran, a French military surgeon, for the first time noticed plasmodium in the blood of malarial patient in 1880. Its connection with the intermediate host and the modes of transmission were experimentally worked out in Calcutta by Sir Ronald Ross in 1889. For this discovery, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1902. Grossi 1890 provided absolute scientific proof for the specific relationship between Anopheles mosquito and the human malarial parasite. Plasmodium. Plasmodium is an intracellular sporozoan blood parasite. For the completion of life cycle, it requires two hosts, vertebrate and a blood-sucking invertebrate. Transference of the parasite is affected by the invertebrate host in men. The infection takes place by the inoculation of the slender sickle-shaped nucleated sporozoite in the blood by the bite of an infected female mosquito belonging to the genus Anopheles. At least four species of Plasmodium, P. P. falciparum, P. malari, and P. ol, are known to attack men, causing different kinds of malaria. The life cycle of malarial parasite involves two hosts, the man and mosquito. The modes of development in these two hosts are different. In men, the mode of reproduction is asexual, and in mosquito, it is sexual. Man is the intermediate host, and the mosquito is definitive host. Life cycle in man. There are two phases in life cycle of malaria parasite. In man, there are pre-erythrocytic cycle and exoerythrocytic cycle, and liver cells and erythrocytic cycle and endoerythrocytic cycle inside the red blood corpuscles. Pre-erythrocytic cycle. The pre-erythrocytic cycle comprises the asexual reproduction of the parasite in the liver. When an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a person, thousands of slender sickle-shaped nucleated sporozoids are injected in the blood. The sporozoids first enter the capillary vessels of the skin and then enter the general circulation. These parasites circulate in the blood for about 30 minutes and enter into the pre-erythrocytic cycle in the reticuloendothelial cells of the liver. Sporozoites penetrate the liver cells and develop into forms known as cryptozoites. A cryptozoite has compact nucleus and no pigment or Plasmodium, life cycle in men, mosquito, sporozoites, cryptozoites, cryptomerozoites, tropozoites, and blood plasma, febrile attacks, gametocytes in liver, pre or exo erythrocytic cycle in RBC, erythrocytic or endo erythrocytic cycle or cycle of Golgi. This was life cycle of female Anopheles mosquito. Now, life cycle of female mosquito gametocytes in RBCs, gametes, male micro and female macro, zygote, okinete, oocyte, sporozoites, man. Vacuoles. Cryptozoites rapidly grow feeding on the liver cells. When a cryptozoite has reached its full growth, it fills the entire cell. In cell stage, it is known as the cryptoschizon. It undergoes schizongony and the resulting cells known as cryptoerozoites are set free in the blood by rupture of the liver cells. The released cryptomerozoites invade fresh liver cells or red blood corpuscle. This cycle is considered as a period of incubation before the parasite could start the erythrocytic cycle. During this period, 7 to 17 days, the parasites are not seen in the bloodstream. Erythrocytic or endoerythrocytic cycle. Each cryptomerozoite makes its way into red blood corpuscles and feed on its content. After some time, the parasite gets an amoeboid shape. This growing stage is known as the trophozoite stage. Soon it develops a vacuole which gradually increases in size. Thus, the nucleus is pushed to one side. The stage is called signet ring stage. With further growth, the vacuole disappears and the amebula occupies the entire interior of the corpuscle. This stage is known as Schizon stage. In the Schizon stage, the nucleus breaks up into bits 6 to 24 and each becomes surrounded by a small amount of cytoplasm. These cells are known as merozoites. By the rupture of the wall of the red blood corpuscles, and merozoites along with vast hemozyne released into the blood. This causes the malarial fever. The liberated merozoites attack another set of corpuscles and start the life cycle new. This method of infection is known as auto-infection. The life cycle in blood of man is called cycle of Golgi, schizogony, or endoerythrocytic cycle. Schizogony keeps up the multiplication of parasites and their maintenance in the blood. After schizogony has taken place for several generations, some of the merozoites which invade the red corpuscle instead of developing into tropozoites and schizogons develop into gametocytes. The gametocytes are of two types: macrogametocytes and macrogametocytes and microgametocytes. The macrogametocytes has a small nucleus and a dense food-laden cytoplasm. The microgametocyte has a relatively large nucleus and clear cytoplasm. Their further development depends on their entry into stomach of a female Anopheles. If it does not take place, they disintegrate life cycle in the mosquito. When a female Anopheles mosquito bites an infected person, it sucks blood along with all the stages of parasites. But in the gut of the mosquito, only the mature gametocytes survive, and the rest of the stages are destroyed. From the gametocytes develop gametes. The process of development of gametes from gametocyte is known as gametogony. Gametogony. The nucleus of the microgametocyte divides into many fragments, and the cytoplasm is thrown into flagellated structures. There may be as many cytoplasmic structures as there are nuclei. This process is known as exflagellation. The resultant cells are called the microgametes. The nucleus of the macrogametocyte divides equally into two. Cytoplasm divides unequally. So among the resulting cells, one is bigger and the other is smaller. The smaller cell is thrown out. This process is known as maturation. The resulting bigger cell is known as female gamete, macrogamete, syngamy, and sporogamy. Inside the stomach of the mosquito, the microgamete and the macrogamete come into union and nuclear fusion takes place. This kind of union is called syngamy, and the resultant form is known as zygote. The zygote assumes an elongated form and is capable of movement. It is known as a kinete. It pierces the wall and comes to lie under the outer layer of stomach wall. There it ceases to move, becomes round, and forms membranous cyst wall. The stationary zygote enclosed in a cyst wall is known as oocyst. It grows in size, absorbing the nourishment from the host. The nucleus of the oocyst divides repeatedly, each being surrounded by a fragment of cytoplasm. Thus, inside the oocyst, a large number of cells develop into minute, slender, sickle-shaped bodies called sporocytes. The cyst wall breaks, liberating the sporocytes into the body cavity, the mucil of the host. They wriggle forward and enter the salivary gland. When such an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites the person it injects into has blood, a stream of sporocytes. This kind of transmission is called inoculation. Types of malaria. The disease caused by Plasmodium is known as malarial fever. It is characterized by recurring bouts of fever, each lasting several hours. Different species of Plasmodium. Life history of Plasmodium. Febrile condition in men is due to toxins liberated into the blood along with the merocytes. When the corpuscle is ruptured at the end of physiogony, there are four species of Plasmodium known to cause malaria in men. The commonest and most widely distributed species is Uavx. It causes benign Tutan malaria in which the fever recurs every third day, every 45 or 48 hours. The Falciparum is largely limited to the tropics and subtropics and causes malignant Tutan or subtutan malaria. This type of malaria has a high death rate. Blood corpuscle parasitized by this species tend to clump together and block up small blood vessels and damage the essential organs. It is a dangerous species and the disease often appears in an epidemic scale. P. causes pattern malaria with feverish fits every post day, every 72 hours. The fourth species, POL and Philistine, it causes benign subtype malaria in which the fever recurs every third day. These four species differ from each other in itself of structure, time needed to complete the Shiogzoni period, number of merozoites released, and duration of sexual cycle. Control of malaria. That how we will control malaria in real world. The control measures fall under the following three categories. Treatment of infected patients. This is main important step. Plasmodium does not produce antitoxins or antibodies in human blood. Therefore, malaria cannot be treated by inoculation or vaccination. With immune sera, it can only be treated with drugs. It may kill all stages of the parasite without poisoning the patient. Quinine, which is extracted from the bark of cinchona trees, we call this quinine, and being used effectively for the past 300 years to cure malaria. The various synthetic drugs such as paludrin, tabrin, chemoquine, chloroquine, rasucin, pemaquine, these are the drugs for malaria. These are used suppressants of various stages of the parasites. Prevention of infection. That's how we will prevent infection. It can be affected in two ways: using protective measures such as mosquito nets. Nowadays, people use these types of nets. Anti-mosquito creams, for example, mosquitoes, etc. Repellents and coils. Coils are used for burning and they produce special smell. Use of prophylactic drugs. Small daily dose of anti-malarial drugs will kill the parasite either in the sporozoite or merozoite stage. Control of vector. It is perfectly clear that if the vector is completely exterminated, the infection cannot be transmitted from one person to another. It is most effective and surest way of controlling malaria. It is achieved by using effective insecticides and by draining swamps. It destroys the breeding places of mosquitoes. Adult mosquito can be most effectively controlled by spraying DDT, but DDT is very dangerous for birds' life, animals' life, not used nowadays. Malathion or any other insecticide in the houses. Fumigating pyrethrum, cresol, and other compounds of NEPA. Sterilization of male mosquitoes. The young stages of mosquito can be controlled by introducing larvivorous species like Gambosia and Lebestis in ponds, lakes, canals, and tanks. The study of earthworm, phylum Annelida, class Catopoda, order Oligoceta, type Lampeto, Nariti. Earthworms are nocturnal animals. They lie in the burrows during the day and come out at night for food. Earthworms leave the burrow only during the rainy season when their burrows are flooded with water. External features. Lampeto megascolex noriti is a common earthworm found in South India. The body is long, slender, cylindrical. It is about 8 to 21 centimeter long and 3 to 4 millimeter in thickness. The dorsal surface is dark purplish brown and the ventral surface is paler in color. It has multiples of segments. The segments are separated from the one another by intersegmental grooves. The division is both external and internal. Inside the body, each cavity of the segment is separated from the next by a thin partition called septum. All the segments look alike. This kind of repetitive arrangement of the segment is called metamerism. The mouth is found in the center of the first segment of the body called peristomium. Overhanging the mouth is a small flap called the upper lip. In prostomium, the last segment has the anus. It is called the phagium. In the mature worm, segment 14 to 17 may be found swollen with a glandular thickening of the skin called clitellum. Earthworm. Body city. Tiny curved vessels called setae are found embedded in small pits of the body wall. These pits are called the stegra pits. The setae are arranged around the body. They are made of chitin and have a swollen middle part and pointed curved ends. The setae resemble the metamerical symbol. They can be moved in any direction and extended or withdrawn by the action of muscles. They are used for locomotion. External apertures. Dorsal folds. These are minute openings and situated in the mid-dorsal line. Intersegmental grooves commencing from the 10th segment. The coelom communicates to the exterior through these pores and keep the body surface moist and free from harmful microorganisms. Spermatical openings. Three pairs of openings are situated ventrolaterally in the intersegmental grooves between segments 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. These openings can be easily seen in mature worms. Opening of oviduct. These are a pair of apertures lying closer together on the ventral surface of the 14th segment. Opening of comedoct. A pair of apertures are situated on the lower side of the 18th segment. Nephridiophores, minute openings scattered on the body wall from 14th segment onward. Body wall. The body wall of earthworm is thin, soft, and moist. It consists of the following layers. Arranged from outside cuticle, it is a thin, transparent, iridescent layer secreted by underlying dermis. It is the form of single layer of columnar cell. This layer contains gland cells and receptor cells. Dermis. It is a very dermis. It is a very thin sheet of connective tissue forming a basement for the epithelial cells at the outside and muscles on the inside. Muscle. The muscles are arranged in two layers. namely the outer circular and inner longitudinal. Coelomic, it is the innermost layer of the body wall forming the lining of the body cavity. Body cavity. A spacious body cavity called coelom is seen between alimentary canal and the body wall. It is divided into series of compartments by the transverse partitions of connective tissue called septa. The coelom is lined with the coelomic epithelium and filled with coelomic fluid. It is a colorless fluid with amoeboid coelomic corpuscles floating in it. The fluid oozes out through the dorsal pores. It keeps body surface moist as a condition wet. Essential for respiration. Coelomic cavity communicates to the exterior through reproductive and excretory apertures. The germ cells are boarded up from the wall of this cavity. Locomotion. Earthworms move about by contraction and expansion of its body wall. When the circular muscles of the body wall contract, the body becomes thin and elongated. This process results in a forward extension of the body. Then it fixes itself firmly to the ground with the help of the body city and mouth. Subsequently, when the longitudinal muscle contracts, the body becomes thick and shortened. As a result, the body is drawn forward towards the interior end, which is already fixed to the ground. Thus, by a repeated process of alternate contraction and expansion of muscular body wall, locomotion is effected. Digestive system. The digestive system runs as a straight tube from mouth to anus. The mouth is situated in the first segment. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity, which occupies segment 1 and 2. The buccal cavity in turn leads into a thick muscular pharynx. The pharynx occupies segment 3 and 4 and is surrounded by pharyngeal glands. The esophagus is a short narrow tube lying in fifth segment. It leads into gizzard lying in the sixth segment. Its inner surface has chitinous lining. The intestine is a large tube extending from the gizzard to the anus. The intestine up to the 14th segment is narrow and the remaining part is circulated. The dorsal wall of the intestine is folded into the cavity as the glosole. This pool contains blood vessels. It increases the absorptive area of the intestine. The inner epithelium consists of columnar cells and glandular cells. Feeding. The earthworm feeds on decaying organic matter contained in the soil. It takes the soil into its alimentary canal where the organic matter is digested and absorbed. Unwanted soil particles are sent out as worm casts. Circulatory system. In the body of earthworm, there are two median longitudinal vessels. The dorsal longitudinal vessel runs above the alimentary. The ventral longitudinal vessel runs below the alimentary canal. The dorsal vessel is contractile and blood flows toward in it. There are fat values inside the vessel which prevent the backward flow of the blood. The ventral vessel is non-contractile and blood flows backward in it. The ventral vessel has no values. In the anterior part of the body, the dorsal vessel is connected with the ventral vessel by 8 pairs of commissural vessels or the lateral heart lying in the segment 6 to 13. These vessels run on either side of the alimentary canal and pump blood from the dorsal vessel to the ventral vessel. The dorsal vessel receives blood from various organs in the body. The ventral vessel supplies blood to the various organs. Excretory system. Excretion is the process of elimination of metabolic waste products from the body. An earthworm excretion is affected by minute fat tubes called nephridia. This is an important point. These are found one pair and each segment. A typical nephridium has an internal funnel-like opening called the nephrostomy. It is fully ciliated. The nephrostomy is in one segment and the rest of the tube will be in succeeding segment. This tube has three distinct nephrostomy, ciliated region, septal excretory canal, body nephridium segment. Divisions. The first part of following the nephrostomy is ciliated inside. This is called ciliated region. The next part is wider and is thrown into coils. This part its wall, it is called glandular region. The last part has neither cilia nor gland. It is called muscular region. This region opens outside by an aperture called nephridiophore. The vast material is collected from the body cavity by ciliated funnel. The ciliated region pushes the waste into the nephridium. The glandular part extracts waste from the body and add it on the onto the west inside. Finally, the west goes out through the nephridiophore. In the South Indian earthworm Megascolex, there are certain modifications. There are three types of nephridia in the Megascolex. They are meganephridia, micronephridia, pharyngeal nephridia. Beside nephridia, there are some special cells on the wall of the intestine called chlorogogen cells. They collect the waste and then drop down into the body cavity. These are then sent out through nephridia. Nervous system, brain, circumpharyngeal connective, ventral nerve cord, earthworm nervous system. The brain is formed of the suprapharyngeal ganglia. It is bilobed mass of nervous tissue situated on the dorsal wall. Reproductive system. Both male and female reproductive organs are present in same worm, hence the earthworms are known as hermaphrodites. Since the sperm develop earlier than production of ova, self-fertilization is avoided. It is known as protandry, male reproductive organs. The male sex organs are formed of two pairs of testes and pair of vasa differentia. Testes are found in segment 10 to 11. They are tufts of the finger-shaped processes attached to the inferior septa of segment 10 to 11. There are two pairs of seminal vesicles formed as outgrowths of testicular segments. Further, two pairs of seminal funnels called ciliary rosettes are situated in the same segment as the testes. The ciliated funnel of the same side are connected to a long tube called as vas deferens. The two vasa differentia of both sides run backward along the ventral body wall up to the 18th segment where they open to the exterior through the male genital aperture. Male genital apertures contain pineal cavity for copulation, a pair of prostate glands, each in the form of much coiled tube, are situated in segment 18 to 19. The prostate glands open to the exterior along with vas deferens. Secretion of prostate glands help to arrange the sperm into bundles called spermatophores. Female reproductive system or organs. A pair of ovaries are found lying in segment They are attached to the anterior septum of the 13th segment. Each ovary has flat structure with a number of finger-like processes. The ova are arranged in the linear order in the ovary. They are pair of oviducts. They open internally into the 13th segment and externally on the ventral surface of the protein segment. Three pairs of spermaticae are present in segment 7, 8, and 9. These external openings are situated in the intersegmental grooves of segments 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. The spermatozoa receives from another individual during copulation are stored in spermaticae. Type study 3 Amphioxus chordata, Cephalochordata, Amphioxus. This group comprises an assemblage of small fish-like marine organisms belonging to two genera, Branchostoma and Semetron Amphioxus. The lancelet genus Branchostoma has the object of much study because it illustrates the three fundamental chordate characters in simple form. Thus, it may be considered as the blue friend of phylum Amphioxus has long notochord with which persists throughout life, a dorsal, hollow notochord, and many gill slits in the pharynx.